Wild animals. It's a part one topic, and the moment students see it, they panic. I don't know anything about animals. I'm not a zoologist. What do I say? And Anthony's response to that, every time, is exactly what makes this channel different from every other IELTS resource out there.
The examiner is not testing your knowledge of wildlife. They are testing your English. And the beautiful thing about the wild animals topic is that your reaction to animals, your feelings, your fears, your fascination, is far more linguistically rich than any fact you could recite about them. You don't need to know that elephants have a gestation period of 22 months. You need to know how to talk about what animals make you feel. Those are completely different skills, and one of them scores band 8. Let's go.
Welcome to the IELTS Speaking Podcast. I'm Felicity, joining Anthony, former IELTS speaking examiner, for Part 1 Quick Wins, Episode 10. Wild Animals is live in the current 2026 exam rotation, so this is timely. Let's get into it.
First, the common questions. Are you interested in wild animals? What's your favorite wild animal? Have you ever seen wild animals in person? Do you think it's important to protect wild animals? And then sometimes the follow-up. Would you like to work with animals? These are the ones you're going to face, and every single one of them is an invitation to show your personality and your language range, not your encyclopedic knowledge of the animal kingdom.
Okay, let's do the band comparison on are you interested in wild animals? Because I think this is where most candidates get it wrong immediately.
Sure, Band 4. Yes, I like animals. Animals are interesting. Band 6. Yes, I'm quite interested in wild animals, especially big cats like lions and tigers. I think they're beautiful creatures, and I watch nature documentaries sometimes. Band 8. Honestly, I'd say I'm more fascinated than interested, if that distinction makes sense. There's something almost primal about wild animals, isn't there? Like when you see footage of a whale breaching or a cheetah at full sprint, it's almost impossible not to feel something. I'm not sure I'd call myself a nature enthusiast exactly, but I find myself genuinely moved by it in a way I don't fully understand.
More fascinated than interested, if that distinction makes sense. That's such a clever move.
It does two things simultaneously. It shows lexical precision, distinguishing between interested and fascinated, and it shows self awareness. You're reflecting on your own language choice in real time, which sounds exactly like a fluent, thoughtful speaker. The phrase, if that distinction makes sense, is also slightly self depreciating in a charming way, which makes the whole answer feel genuine.
Something almost primal. Primal. Unpack that word.
Primal means fundamental, instinctive, connected to something deep and ancient in human nature. It's a gorgeous word for the animal topic because it implies that your reaction to wildlife isn't just aesthetic, it's something deeper, more biological. And when you use a word like that naturally in part one, the examiner's eyebrow goes up slightly, in a good way.
A whale breaching, Breachin, and a cheetah at full sprint. Why these specific images?
Two reasons. First, they're specific, and specificity always scores higher than generality in IELTS speaking. Big animal scores worse than a whale breaching. Second, they're visually cinematic. The examiner can picture them. When your language creates a mental image, it's doing something very sophisticated. It's what writers call showing rather than telling, and that's a band 8 skill applied to spoken English.
Let's take the favorite animal question, because this is where I've seen students lock up. They feel like they need to pick the right animal or justify a complicated choice.
And the truth is, pick anything, literally anything. An animal you find beautiful, terrifying, bizarre, fascinating, funny. The animal itself is irrelevant. What matters is the language you use around it. Here's a Band 8 example with a genuinely unexpected choice. I think if I had to choose, I'd say octopuses, which probably sounds strange, but I find them almost unsettlingly intelligent. They can solve puzzles, open jars, change color and texture in milliseconds. There's something about them that feels genuinely alien, like they evolved on a completely separate track from the rest of life on Earth. I find that quietly extraordinary.
Octopuses.
See, you're already interested. You're leaning in. That's what the examiner is doing too. Nobody talks about octopuses in IELTS. And when someone does with that kind of precise, enthusiastic language, it lands. Unsettlingly intelligent, genuinely alien, quietly extraordinary. Three adverb adjective combinations that paint a vivid picture and score beautifully on lexical resource.
And the fabrication principle applies here too. You don't have to genuinely love octopuses.
You just have to sound like you do, and that's a performance you can prepare. Pick your animal before the exam, build your 2 or 3 sentences around it, practice until it sounds natural. Any animal you can talk about with genuine sounding enthusiasm is your favorite animal for the purposes of the IELTS speaking test.
Let's do the protection question quickly. Do you think it's important to protect wild animals? Because this bleeds into part 3 territory, and students sometimes give a very flat answer.
Right. Band 5 answer, yes, I think it's important. Animals are part of nature and we need to protect them. Band 8, absolutely. Though I think the argument that resonates most with me isn't the sentimental one, it's the ecological one. Wild animals aren't separate from the world we live in, they're woven into it. When a species disappears, the effects cascade in ways that are genuinely difficult to predict. So, protecting wild animals is, in a very real sense, protecting ourselves. I think that framing makes it feel more urgent than just we should be kind to creatures.
The argument that resonates most with me, woven into it, effects cascade. This is such sophisticated vocabulary for what should be a simple part 1 question.
And that's exactly the point. There are no simple part 1 questions. There are only simple answers to part 1 questions. The question is always an invitation to show your language. Your job is to accept the invitation.
Quick wins. 3 things for wild animals, or honestly, for any part 1 topic that feels outside your comfort zone.
Quick win number 1, your reaction is more valuable than your knowledge. You don't need facts. You need feelings, fascinations, opinions, and curiosity. I find it almost unsettlingly intelligent they are is worth 20 times more than elephants can remember things for a long time.
Quick win number 2, pick your animal before the exam. Spend 5 minutes choosing one animal you can talk about with enthusiasm, prepare 2 or 3 sentences, and practice them.
When the question comes, you're not thinking, you're delivering. Quick win number 3, use adverb adjective combinations. Quietly extraordinary, genuinely alien, oddly beautiful, almost primal. These pairings are band 8 vocabulary in their simplest form. 2 words that together are more powerful than either alone. Collect a few and deploy them across any topic, not just animal.
Your reaction, not your knowledge. Pick your animal in advance, adverb adjective combinations. Wild animals is officially not scary anymore. The free resource download is in the description. The 60-second cue card template works for any topic, including animal questions that drift into part 2 territory.
Episode 36 is next. Part 2, describe a water sport. Current cue card, and we're using conditional and hypothetical language to build a full Band 8 answer about an activity you've never done, might never do, and possibly cannot swim for. See you there.